leads Kelly in the Sandown 500, then an 11-second gap to Paul Radicic, who's dicing with Jason Richards, and then another 1.6 seconds to Stephen Ellery, and Rick Kelly 3.6 seconds further back after a little collision with Radicic earlier, for which there has been no penalty as yet. We're riding with Marcus Ambrose. Quick word on what's happening later tonight. Of course, the latest round, the final European round of the Formula One World Championship from Monza, Italy. We could see a similar situation to what we have here, except it'll be Montoya versus another red car, Michael Schumacher. Schumacher on pole, Montoya alongside him, then Rubens Barrichello and Kimi Raikkonen. Of course, three of those top four are within 1 point of each other in the championship, or 2 points, I should say, separating Montoya, Raikkonen and Schumacher. Hope you'll join us for that as well. Big day of motorsport, and it continues here at Sandown.
Yeah, and Paul Radicic, Billy, is under a little bit of pressure now from Jason Richards. This is for position 3 and 4. Radicic holding on to position 3, Richards 4. There's Stephen Ellery in 5th.
Richards is now complaining of being held up by the Betta electrical car, and he wants to get on with it because he's starting to be pressured by Ellery in the super cheap entry.
Stephen Ellery was very fast here throughout practice and qualifying, cracked the top 10. Unfortunately, locked the brake right down to this part of the circuit, which put him out of contention for all. I thought there was a car off there. It's Holden Young Lions. Dale Breed, Tony Ricciardello machine. This battle here, 3rd, 4th and 5th place, has brought Stephen Ellery right into contention. Sandown's been a happy hunting ground for the Ellery crew. It's the place where he achieved his first V8 Supercar podium. Let's have a look at the Strathfield replay. What got car 46 into so much drama?
Big chance to be a flat spot.
Tony Ricciardello at the wheel, the man who drove for DJR in the Konica Series this year. Had to make way for Warren Love for the final round at Mallala, but managed to find a seat with John Faulkner's operation.
And Dale Breed is his co-driver for the afternoon. And just thinking about the co-driver as we take a look at this continuing battle, and as Neil mentioned, Stephen Ellery's really putting some pressure now on Jason Richards. You think about the co-driver thing, and we've been watching at the front, the Ambrose versus Kelly battle, Stone Brothers versus Holden Racing Team. What about when they switch over? It becomes Scaife versus Ingle. Yep,
and that'll clearly be a... we just had a report of hail in the vicinity. I hope your car's parked under a garage, Matty. The chopper is actually going to come out of the sky. The Network 10 chopper is going to come out of the sky because
it's actually my chopper.
Oh, it's not.
So it's okay.
That's why we're parking it, obviously.
It's a great job by Team Dynamic, based in South Australia.
You make a very good point, Matthew, about the second driver in the combinations. Obviously, when you look at Ambrose and Ingle, you've got two A-grade drivers who are currently doing laps in the series, week in, week out testing. Same situation with Scaife and Kelly. Radicic, however, has Ricard Rydell with him, who hasn't yet come fully to terms with these motor cars. On the other hand, Jason Richards has got Simon Wills. He's got a lot of match practice and match fitness. Look at this dark weather. It looks ugly, doesn't it?
Really looking forward to this battle. We have the first driver change between Mark Scaife and the Holden Racing Team, Commodore and Russell Ingle, and the Stone Brothers racing forward.
We know that Glenn Seaton's been having his troubles in car number 6. His teammate Craig Lowndes is still waiting on. He's with Grant Kenny in pit lane.
Craig, I saw you've been over there for a while watching for the weather. Some pretty heavy drops of rain, the most ominous sign of rain so far. You come running back here with a big smile. Is that a sign we should be aware of?
Well, look, I love the circuit. I love being in the wet. We have some great results, but obviously it is also at the same time it's very dangerous. The same for everyone else. But look, I'm looking forward to getting out there and having a good go. Whether it's wet or dry, we believe it will rain very shortly. Above us it's black. It's dropping very big droplets of rain, not just small stuff. So when it does come, I think it'll come in a hurry.
We've actually heard that there's hail out there, so that could make it even more interesting. Tell me, the car I know at the start had a problem with a misfire. That seemed to be rectified. What's the latest on that?
Well, Glenn he's talking about it comes and goes, so it's a bit of an intermittent misfire. So look, we don't know. We've done our best. The car's going to run there all day. We'll just get out there, do the best. We are sort of at this current point surviving it, going a lap down. So look, Glenn's saying the car is working really well. He's happy in the car, but this misfire sort of comes in and out.
Yesterday I was talking to him, he was saying he's got a bit of a problem in there in terms of shock absorbers and the way the car's handling the bumps. Do you think that may have contributed to the spin he had earlier?
Yeah, I'm not sure. He did talk about having too much rear bias on the car because you put more rear on when you got full tanks. He might have caught him out, I'm not sure, but look, he's soldiering on, he's out there, we're circulating.
Greg Lowndes, good luck.
Thank you.
Just thinking this as an ideal lead up to Bathurst is probably getting a full, complete shakedown at the moment, especially if it hails, because 4 seasons in one circuit up there, they've got to get used to anything. Look at the time, Seaton versus Stokel. And Glenn Seaton is consistently showing faster times lap by lap. Cameron McConville in car number 3 and his partner Tim Lay are out of this race. Tim didn't get behind the wheel because Cameron, you didn't make it that far, did you? Oh, hang on. It's come down, and it's come down heavy.
This will be diabolical on slicks. At least there's some warmth in them, but this will be really, really bad. We welcome Cameron. And, mate, these conditions are ugly, aren't they?
Very, very ugly.
Yeah, look, they're very ugly. It was slippery out there at this part of the circuit earlier, but this is really bad. You just got to try and see it through, and I don't know if I'd be pitting just yet. It sort of blows in and goes out pretty quick.
Rusty's in pit lane. Greg?
Well, Cam, I don't reckon they're going to be too far away. There are tiny little bits of hail falling with this little bit of sideways as Garth Tander comes onto the front straight. Wilson in trouble there now. Some of them coming into pit lane, the likes of Team Kiwi. This is unbelievable, guys. It's going to come down hard here.
Well, Marcus Ambrose is coming in. He's had enough already, so this has totally shuffled around everything on lap 40 of 161, if we make it that far. The hail has come down in pit lane. Frantic activity. And Ambrose, our race leader, pulls in. Stone Brothers Racing. Change onto the wets.
Yeah, pretty good start from Stone Brothers. The wet tyres are on. I thought initially there they were going to do some changes there with the roll centre, but nothing but wets.
So fully grooved wet weather tyres going on. Former race leader Marcus Ambrose puts Todd Kelly into the lead. Rusty?
Paul Radicic staying at the wheel of car 65. They're throwing wets at this car. It is not hailing now, just heavy droplets of rain. Interestingly, Jason Bright, Paul Wheel, they did not hit this time around. They have stayed out on slicks, car 50.
There was contact as we crossed to Greg down there between the Craig Baird, Paul Dumbrell car. I don't know whether Thomas Mazira got in the Dumbrell car as it exited the pit lane.
Todd Kelly's chosen to stay out there, leading this race. He's still on slick tyres, but there's a heap of cars coming in now. Brad Jones in the Aussie Mail Ford comes in as well.
Cameron's point's a good one. You've got to be very certain of the fact that it's going to stay wet. Otherwise, you've got to cycle back in through the whole process, but it looks diabolical out there at the moment.
Grant?
Yes, really confusing down here. Ford Performance, car 5, Macro and Hosse came in for fuel and tyres, and then the Kelly Besnard car arrived too early behind them and had to sit and wait for an agonising 15 or 20 seconds. Absolute chaos there. Electing to go with obviously wet tyres, but also fuel.
There's only one boom allocated to each team, but sometimes it does actually make sense to sit in the queue and wait if the conditions are bad enough out on the racetrack. Sometimes it's better to actually burn the time in the lane rather than end up meeting Mr. Wall down the back straight somewhere and knocking the rivets off the fence.
Absolutely, it'd be so skatey out there at the moment. I mean, really, it's a big gamble now that the rain set in to stay out on slicks. I mean, I think you'll see Todd and Bright have to pit. It's too dangerous out there now on slicks.
So they would definitely have to come in. As you can see on our shot there, it's so heavy. This is, I'm pretty sure this might be the Garth Tander coming through in front, and then the big collection point between Max Wilson and David Bernard sends Wilson pirouetting for the second time today. Greg Rust?
Not much in the way of driver changes happening here, Matty. Having said that, the 888 car, the second of the Aussie Mail Fords coming in. John Clellan is standing by. I cannot believe some of them are chancing it at the moment and staying out there on slick tyres. You should see the way that the cars like the Wheel and Bright entry are moving around when they come through that left-hander onto the front straight. Treacherous stuff.
They'd have 0 lap speed, so if you persevere with slicks for much more than a lap or two at the moment, a couple of things, you may not make it back into the pit lane, but you'd be burning 15 or 20 seconds a lap almost, Cameron, by just staying out there. So, but the problem is, and we've seen it time and again with these long races, you don't know what's coming in the next 3 or 4 minutes.
That's true, and these wet weather tyres, the Dunlops, are particularly good in these conditions. If it's very monsoonal, you can get a fair bit of aquaplaning, but they're a big advantage over slicks now, that's for sure.
Darryl?
Yeah, I was just down here for the Richards Longhurst bit, same thing, just wets as well. But an interesting thing was Jimmy with the open face helmet was Tony leaned in through the window and gave him some Gatorade. He had a swig, handed it back, and off he went.
Well, Todd Kelly is going to come in this lap. So Holden Racing Team have got car number 2 out there with wets on now. They need car number 1.
There's also a view that suggests that it's not a bad idea in these conditions, Cameron, to leave your hot driver in the car, the guy that got the feel for the road, got the feel for the car. Otherwise, you're putting a cold driver in a car in an awkward situation, and that's one of the reasons why we haven't seen too many driver changes.
Look at this. Marcus Ambrose right up behind the Cirame Wines Commodore, grappling for traction in these treacherous conditions. He's now 32 seconds behind Todd Kelly on the road, in second position. So when TK comes in to go onto wet tyres, Pertec, Hammel and Carr will go back into the lead. Jason Bright is behind Ambrose, still on slick tyres, I think. Radicic, the next of the blokes on wets.
Most of the switched-on teams. Oh, car 1's gone round. Car 1 has gone to the grass, and this is he's coming in.
That was on his way in, Neil, as he was trying to get around to the pit lane entry. So he's lost it on the inside. That's exactly what you were.
There's 10 seconds.
Yep.
You know.
That's all right, mate.
The switched-on teams
have got
a view of the weather because they look on the internet. Here's the Strathfield replay. This is another incident, I understand, at turn 8 where he went straight ahead and rejoined. And this is the same spot a lap later. Look, it looks like an ice skating rig out there. I tell you what, he was seriously lucky to get out of that. He's got the boot in, rooster tail out of the gravel.
Darryl?
Yeah, the team down here, the wets are on, just waiting for the fuel. There's a few gravel rocks in the front of the car, but interesting while you're standing here, this car pitting as it leaves, everything went well. Cars coming onto the front straight here. There's a bit of a dip where they make that final left, Neil, before they head down the front chute, and they're all really getting sideways.
Hey, Darryl, did they stay with Todd in the car, or did Mark get in?
No, as far as I can see up here so far with a lot of the drivers, the hot driver has stayed in the car.
Okay, thanks.
But not a bad strategy. Marcus Ambrose takes over the lead now.
Ambrose has already gone through, and there he is.
Okay, so Todd Kelly, we'll just see the update the next lap, but he may have rejoined in second place. See what the gaps are between these leading cars. This is definitely our race leader, Marcus Ambrose.
The interesting thing here will be the western or southwestern horizon. Jason Bright out of the car and doesn't look like a happy boy. Oh, no.
I wonder why he was getting out looking pretty disgusted. There's the answer.
He's gone through to the gravel trap as well and is completely disgusted. And it was the gamble, wasn't it? The gamble to stay out there, and it didn't pay off for Todd Kelly. It hasn't certainly paid off for Jason Bright. Grant?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, big damage to this car, Matty. He's got half a gravel trap brought back into the pits, and there is coolant pouring out of the front of the car. So this is terminal for a little while. At least they're about to wheel it into the pits. We'll try and find out exactly what the problem is.
Absolute mayhem here, pit lane and out on the racetrack. Look at the damage to the Team Brock car 50. They took the gamble to stay out there on slick tyres.
Has it got slicks on it, or has it got wets on it?
Looks like it's got wets on it, so, I mean, yeah, maybe Bridie's just got caught up there or something, but...
It's definitely got slicks. They didn't make it in. He stayed out with Todd Kelly and came to grief on the same lap that Todd did on the way back in, if you understand what I mean.
They may have just put wets on it to put it in the garage. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine how skatey it would be. Sandown's one of the slipperiest racetracks in Australia, and a damp sort of situation like this where it's not monsoon or rain, just enough to make it very, very skatey.
So now getting back onto that lead lap scenario, it's Ambrose leading the race 25 seconds back to Todd Kelly, so he did rejoin in second place. Paul Radicic in third, Ellery in fourth, Rick Kelly up to fifth in car 51, the Kmart Commodore. And it's Jason Richards, Jason Bargwana, all those cars on the lead lap at the moment. Winterbottom clawing his way back into contention, eighth now in the Stone Brothers Ford. Cameron McLean in the second of the Kmart Commodores in ninth, and rounding out the top 10 is the Castrol Commodore of Richards.